My name's Eddie Smallwood. I'm a traditional owner from the Bindle people and also Berry around the Collinsville area. I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners, the Wagga people who we meet today. I also want to acknowledge Virginia and Josephine, who is part of our TOMG, Traditional Owner Management Group, and we've been involved with NQ Dry Tropics for over 20 years. So it's really good to have that relationship as traditional owners, but as you can see on the board, there's 16 traditional owner groups within the Burdick and Dry Tropics area, and there's one from each of the groups that is part of the TOMG. So it's a good range of how we share knowledge and culture with each other, but we just wanted to have a bit of a talk about, this is our traditional owner group there. Like I said, we're all party to those 16 traditional owner groups, but it's a privilege to, we celebrated 20 years last year, so it's really great to do that with the NRM body. But it's also, NQ Dry Tropics is driving the way for traditional owner engagement through with the NRM bodies throughout all of Queensland, but it's really a privilege to be part of it.
So the traditional owner group, as Eddie said, 20 years, and it provides advice to us, but it's got the networking opportunity for the traditional owners to get together and exchange ideas, because often they're negotiated with individually, and so it's good for them to have that opportunity to see what deals are different people making with them so that they can unite and give one another support.
So I also run the Digital Reference Group. It's based in Home LNE, and we've also got an office in Townsville now, so we expanded. We do a lot of marine research, caring for country, and also we're a rural fire brigade. We just got a brand new truck, so that's the old truck, so it's really good to have it, and we do a lot of burns around the whole region. When we go through the presentation, we'll show you some other stuff, but with our land and sea ranges, we look after country, and it's really good to be out there. I don't like air conditioning because I'm usually out in the open, and my backyard is the waterways, so it's really good, and we've got a lot of good waterways around our region. With our Bindle traditional owners, we've actually got 3 of the major waterways around here. We've got the Ross River, the Horton River, and the Burdick River, so that's all part of Bindle country. So we share the Ross River with Wagga, but it's also, we've got a good relationship with all of our traditional owner groups in our TOMG.
So we wanted to, we'd seen Conway's presentation and focus in on that understanding slide that he had. We thought that really resonated for the TOMG and for the traditional owners in the area around it's all holistic. They don't look at, there's all these individual plans and activities, but their view is very holistic. So there was a slide in there which had all the current plans that Eddie in particular is being engaged with around. There's the Water Quality Improvement Plan, the 2050 Plan, there's a review of the Burdick Dam, there's Water Quality Strategy that's coming up, the Horton pipeline, there's ILUAs that they're negotiating, there's native title negotiations, the Land and Sea Ranger program.
Yeah, and we're also doing the cultural water values for the Burdick River. That's with the raising of the dam, as you all know, there's going to be the raising of the dam, and Sunwater is engaging with traditional owners along the Burdick River to look at the cultural water values that we have for that area.
And also that a lot of the engagement that occurs is generally directed as Indigenous engagement. The Traditional Owner Management Group's been very vocal in making sure there's a distinguishment between First Nations or Indigenous people and traditional owners, and the custodianship responsibilities that brings. So all the plans that are going on, and this is just a short list of Eddie's work and each of our traditional owner leaders. in terms of their workload. And that's just around NRM. So that's not taking into account health or education or all the other things that are going on. So part of the Traditional Land Management Group have helped us develop up protocols and principles around better engagement. And those focus and certainly reflect some of the findings that Conway presented. So they're very much in tune with those in terms of time, support, resources, time is the ongoing thing, is that you're engaging with the same people, and yet each of those plans has a team behind it who have spent months before, and then they come and consult, and they're supposed to be up to speed immediately. So we showcase 2 projects that are going on locally. One is the Reef Assist project, funded through Office of the Great Barrier Reef. And that's achieving water quality outcomes, but it's also achieving community outcomes, and has been developed very cooperatively with Gujada in terms of developing it.
Yeah, so one of the projects there, we actually go out and assist with our property owners and doing the leaky wees. So as you can see there, before and after, so you can see how much changes it has on properties. But it's about sharing that, the relationship between property owners and having traditional owners out there on country, and assisting to look after country. It's about looking after country. We all have to do that. And I think that's why everyone's in this room here, is because we need to look after country. So that's our Traditional Owner Management Group on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, that's where we've done some cultural burning at Jervois up in Greenvale. So we share it with everyone. The traditional owners are Gugabarden, and they invited all the different traditional owners, ranger groups, rural fire brigades, a whole range of people have attended a lot of these cultural burnings that we do. And it's really good because a lot of property owners, when we first started talking to them about cultural burning, they were fear of fire because they didn't want to burn all their property or anything. But then after we've done, it's about 3 years ago, we started up at Jervois. And now that we're doing that, we've got other cultural burns with other property owners. We've got Balmoral between the Burdekin and Townsville. We've just done a cultural burn at Ames. So people are changing. They're not worried. They're not getting frightened of fire. And fire is a tool that people can use on their land. So that's just one of our slip-on units. When we first become Rural Fire Brigade, they gave us a slip-on unit, but like I said, we've got a brand new truck. We only got it last week. I also run a ranger program, but the rangers are also a Rural Fire Brigade. And the biggest thing there is insurances, because when you're doing any burns, that if it gets away, you're gone. But if you're with the Rural Fire Brigade, that covers you. So just make sure the wind's right.
So the project started out was around revitalising knowledge in the region. So it was acknowledged that a lot of knowledge had been lost in this region for all the disruptions and dispossession that had happened. So we needed to engage with some external and some local knowledge holders that still existed to try and put those pieces back together in terms of the gaps that existed within the cultural knowledge. So there was a big focus on capacity and capability building. The fire for the region, we worked mostly with grazing properties, and sadly there's not a lot of graziers here today, but the focus or bushfire threat is a big risk, and it's a growing risk. So that was a key part of putting the project. The project was identified by the TOMG after the 2019 fires down south, and they didn't want that same thing to happen here. So that's where we put together and designed the project. And I guess the linking with the program today around water quality and also sediment saving. So everyone knows that if you have a big bushfire, you've got zero ground cover and a long time before it returns. So, yeah, we see a great link, and we would hope that the next consensus statement will have some things around cultural fire being a useful tool in the grazing landscape and other landscapes. So some of the problems that the graziers were facing were around woody thickening. A lot of that land had been clear felled, as you know. It was a requirement to keep your lease. You had to clear fell so much country each year to keep your pastoral lease. The graziers had tried bulldozing, stick raking, had no success, and were left with growing problems of that. This one reflects the monitoring that we did at one site, and you can see that it's opened up the land, brought back native grasses. You've still got good ground cover coming back, but the parent trees and the older trees aren't being strangled out. So, yeah, we put in place monitoring so that we could try and document and support the cultural knowledge. I have a short clip around the Cultural Fire Project.
Really exciting being here today to see the landowners, to see the local traditional owners working with WWF and fire sticks, trying to find ways of actually healing country, but doing it in a way that actually sustains us and builds productivity. It's helping to bring back that cultural knowledge around the use of fire in these landscapes. It's providing opportunities for traditional owners in terms of skilling, in terms of future employment opportunities, and it's helping landowners deal with some of the intractable problems that they've had to deal with for years in a very light touch way across the landscape. It's a pilot, I think, that I hope will build confidence in other land managers, and my dream is that we'll see cultural fire management as part of the toolkit of graziers and land managers in this part of the world.
Final thoughts about this project is hopefully it can be a project which unites everyone and brings together lots of different people from different areas to learn about the common goal which we have for using fire throughout our land in a sustainable way, which is going to help us in the long run through a continued effort from everyone involved.
So recently we had a regional workshop a couple of months ago to end up this project, and we got a lot of really good feedback. We had a large number of participants coming from all the different ranger groups in the area, the Land and Sea Ranger groups. We had a lot of rural fire. We had more people want to attend than what we had capacity to be able to have there. We had WWF there, we had Burdekin Shire Council, we had trainees, so we had young people, old people. There were a lot of Googlebarden traditional owners, some of them who reconnected with country for the first time in a long time, or for their first time on that particular property. We had the host of property that we worked with in terms of both of the graziers were really went above and beyond in terms of what support they gave to the project and to the traditional owners, and for a lot of healing that took place of people reconnecting with their knowledge, reconnecting with knowledge systems. So key messages and lessons learned. So putting resources into fixing small problems before they become big problems. So the work that they do on the small gullies, things like cultural fire that have so many co-benefits, that we can learn a lot from the holistic approach to management, and that the stakeholders are many and varied. I'll go back to that one and pass on to Eddie.
Yeah. So, it's about working in partnerships, and that's where the relationships are built. Partnerships here is something that all of our traditional owners want to do. Some have got capacity and some haven't. But it's about just giving the opportunity to work with people, pastoralists, or even anyone out there. If you want to have a talk with anyone, just let us know and we'll try and put you onto the right people. All years are from different areas, but we've got a list of our, like I said, with our traditional owners. We can always keep in touch with them. We've also done a lot of stuff with around the Collinsville area. It's really good because the property owners actually accept us and respect us. But it's also through NQ Tropics that have bridged the gap there, or closed the gap for us to be party and working together with property owners. So yeah, look, thanks for listening to myself and Karen's presentation. If you've got any questions, just give us a yell.